Here's the truth about selling your home in today's market. If you're chasing the market, you're already behind. That's how active listings become stale, sellers get frustrated, and opportunities get lost. Guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you the difference between being a proactive seller and a reactive seller, and I'm going to break down the 5 biggest seller traps so you don't fall into it. Guys, I'm Ryan McMillan, a real estate agent here in Vancouver. I help people sell and buy homes, and I love talking about real estate. I want to get you guys to your end goal. So stick around to the end of this video too, because you're going to hear my top 5 summary to bring it all in together and help you get to your end goal, and that is to sell your home. So the market's shifting constantly. Buyers have more information than ever before, and agents know what the market is in this current situation. So we have to set the stage and be realistic in today's market. Most of the sellers I see that are successful are proactive instead of reactive. And what I mean by that is we're not chasing the market down, right? What we've seen in this last year and a bit is maybe even longer than that, prices are on the decline, right? So if you have this expectation going in and saying, let's price at the top of the market, let's just do it from the get-go, you're already starting from behind now, because now you are going to chase. And we've seen the trend continue month over month that you are continually chasing the market. So what does that mean for your listing? You want to hit that window right away. In that first 2 to 3 weeks, that is the hottest time for your new listing to get as many eyes on it and to get people fired up about it. Right now, if we have a listing at the very peak of the market in your demographic, in your price point, in what you're selling, that's going to be maybe the property that gets overlooked first. Buyers are very smart right now. And the other thing is there's so much inventory, like I've talked about in previous videos, that buyers can take their time. So if they see your property priced at the highest point, they might put that one on the back burner for now, unless there's just, something that really, really catches their attention. But in this market, there has to be something really, really special about that to catch their attention if your property is priced too high. So before we even list, before we even sign that contract to get your house on the market, we need to understand your why. In today's market, it's super crucial to understand your why you're selling. The days of throwing something at the wall, hoping it sticks, let's just see if we can get some extraordinary, insane number, are completely over. They are completely dead. So we really have to understand your why. What is your reason for selling? Do you need to sell right now in this market? Are you downsizing? Are you going for an upsize opportunity? You're going from a condo, you got a family that's starting to grow, you need more space. So you're going to maybe, a detached or a townhome situation that gives you more space. But we have to understand your why and your motivation for selling. And now we can start the ball rolling into the actual strategy of selling your house. So once we understand that, then we can get into, okay, here's your why. For example, if you're looking at an upsize situation and you're in a condo, for example, now we know the market is flooded with condos, right? Especially in certain areas, they are not moving unless they are priced very, very, very sharp. So we have to ask ourselves, okay, if you're in this situation, how do we want to price your place? Your end goal is to end up in a larger home or something with more space. You have to look at the overall picture. Now, if you're going to get something for maybe a good deal on the back end when you go buy a place, you have to look at, let's try to unload this at a sharp price and really market and price it competitively and just get on with it. Let's move on from it. And then we're not chasing the market. We're not adjusting the market. We are ahead of the market, right? That doesn't mean like, let's just throw a really low number at it, but let's maybe come under a little bit, but at least where the market might be ending up in a month. Then you don't have to chase. We're already there. We're already ahead of it. That is key. And like I said, the first 2-3 weeks, you're going to get more eyes on it. It's a brand new hot listing. That's the time when you might get the first couple of really good offers coming in, and could be your best offers, right? And that's what people have to realize. Sometimes the first offer, and more times than not, is going to be your best offer. So be proactive in having that strategy after you find out your why, and then let's move on from there. Now, if you need to sell, if you're just like, look, I can't keep up with my payments. Okay, again, another situation where let's price this competitively. Because if you're trying to get peak pricing and you think, well, let's just price it super high because I need to, the problem with that is, if you need to sell because you can't afford the payments, well, if we keep going month over month over month, that's more money you're losing, more money you're keeping on the table, instead of, again, pricing it competitively and moving this property now within 30 days. And it can be done if we're priced like that. Common mistakes I see from sellers, and when I call it the seller's trap, is a few things. Overpricing from the start, like I said. You burn the first 2 or 3 weeks, the hottest window, like I mentioned, you burnt it, it's gone. It can't come back unless we delist and relist. But again, there's a history of the property there showing that we've delisted it. Any agent coming in knows that, okay, they've priced at a certain point. Now they've dropped it 50 grand. Then they delisted it after another 60 days and then they relisted it. That's not, that's hard to fall under the radar in with today's technology. It just is. So again, why go through all that? Why go through all that and say, well, let's just throw something at the wall? Like I said, if we were back in 2021 and 2022, I'd absolutely say, let's throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. Nothing's going to stick, guys. Nothing will stick in the wall in today's market unless you just basically hit the lottery, which we all know the odds. So, and again, another mistake, like I said, and this kind of correlates, is chasing the market down with multiple reductions. That's exactly what we're doing. We're chasing. So when's that going to end, right? Like it's just not. It's not at this point. Now, in a couple of years from now, things level off, things start, recovering a bit. We'll see. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but we're talking about what we're in this climate right now, and people are continuing to chase, and that's when you see the listings that are sitting stagnant on the market. And then really another seller's trap, and again, it's not a knock on sellers, it's just to give you guys information that unrealistic expectations from sellers. I hear it over and over again where, you go through some comps, you lay out the pricing, and then we come up with a number based on where we should price sharply to hit that 2-3 week window. And then the common thing is, well, I get all that, but we can look at the numbers, but my property is an exception. My property has this, or my property has that. That property down the road, yeah, it has that, but it didn't have this. Guys, nobody's overpaying for your freshly painted corner house with a white picket fence, right? Like they're just not. People are gonna look at numbers. Numbers is more important than ever. People aren't wasting money. People don't have money to waste. So unless your property is priced correctly, all that other stuff doesn't matter. Now, if you have a few extra amenities like a corner lot, or you have like the brand new kitchen, that's going to get more eyes on your property, right? Not necessarily going to get you an extra $100,000, but it's going to get more eyes. Presentation, another thing I'm going to get into here, but that's going to get more eyes on your property and potentially more interest and leading to a couple of good offers, or at least one good offer, right? Some people don't even get that. So that all plays a role. Don't get caught up in the little things. Yes, it's your home. You take pride in your home. Everybody does. It's your home. There's a lot of meaning behind that. But what's valuable to you, or what you think is added that extra value, really to a lot of people, they don't care. They want to see what's it priced at. Listen, you have this freestanding pool in the backyard. I'm not going to overpay for that. I can put that in if I want. That's not something that's going to increase the value of your home much with the amount of inventory we have and where places are priced. I try to price things sharp and really, like I said, get ahead of the market. And then the other big thing, the big seller trap, is really just ignoring presentation. And this is going to lead into the next thing about trusting the process. But ignoring presentation, if you're working with an agent that's proactive with pricing and the market, they're also going to be proactive with your presentation, right? Now, that doesn't mean maybe repaint the entire home, but at least there might be a couple of walls that need a full repaint, not spot repaints. Make it presentable. Magic erasers can be your best friend as well, but have it presented where now it's a complete show home. Some homes need more work than others, but you need to get off the fact that it's your home now. Once it's hitting the market, it is now a show home. It's a home for people to come in. Get rid of that red painted kitchen that you love. Get neutral colors out there, right? We need to present this as a show home. When the pre-sale game was hot, the presentation centers, what do they look like? They're immaculate. People are coming in. It doesn't look like someone's lived there. You can't have that. It's a show home. Declutter. Get rid of the personal crap. Rent a storage unit for 3 months if it costs you $500. It doesn't matter. You got to spend a little money if you're trying to make a lot of money, right? That's what people don't understand. The days of, I'm just selling it as is and I'm going to get a stupid, insane amount of money are dead. You got to present the property properly. We have to have it show home ready. And by that, I mean everything. We're not spot painting walls. We're not having any loose cabinets, because what that shows to a potential buyer is how the home's been maintained. If I come in and I see, oh, you spot painted a couple of spots on the wall, you have a loose cabinet in the kitchen, you got a little grime here in the corner of the bathroom. To me, as a buyer, naturally, that just looks like your home hasn't been maintained. And if you lived in it for, say, the last 10 years, because I kind of know the history of the house, well, what's been going on the last 10 years? If you can't even get those basic things up to par, what's going on behind the walls? What have you not maintained? What about the HVAC system? Has anything been cleaned out over the last 10, 12 years you've owned the property, or 5 years you've owned the property? It doesn't matter. The point is that we have to show buyers that this home has been immaculately taken care of, even if maybe it's been left, a little bit too long on certain things. When we're walking into it, maybe you need 2 weeks to get it up to par. Take those 2 weeks. I know it's frustrating. I know it's a lot of work, but it's a give and take. And that's what I'm going to jump into next year. So number 4 is the importance of trusting the process. This is a seller trap I see a lot, where, they hire an agent, they hire him because, maybe their portfolio is great. They got a good track record. They like their social media. They got a good reach, but then they just ignore everything they say and they want to put their own spin on it. You got to trust the process and think about why you're hiring that agent. It's no different if you hire an electrician, or you hire anybody that's doing some type of service for you. You're hiring because you're trusting what they know. You're trusting the process. And everybody has a bit of understanding of the market, and they bought homes or they sold homes potentially in the past. But, a good agent is on top of the market every single day of the week, right? Markets change, especially a market like this right now. So trusting the process is very, very crucial to, again, what's your end goal? Getting your home sold. A good agent isn't worried about, pricing your home. He's not pricing your home $50,000 less because he's going to make a lot more money. He wants to get the best price for you, and this is the strategy. You guys got to understand that when it comes down to pricing and trusting the process, what we price at is a tool. It's not the end goal. If I price it here at a certain number, that doesn't mean that's what you're going to get. If I price it really high, it doesn't mean that's what you're going to get. It's about how much attention can we get on your property, period. That's it. The number is a tool. It's no different than anything else. It's a number, just like any other kind of tool. This is the type of tool, so you got to trust the process. So a good agent brings data, strategy, and negotiation skills, and that's part of the process. So like I said, when it comes to the tool, now it's time for the negotiation. If I get a lot of eyes on this property, hopefully I get a couple of offers or a few offers on this property. Now it's the negotiation skills, right? Because you're going to get all sorts of different offers as far as numbers. That's a buyer's agent using their tool. And now you're coming at me, and now it's time for negotiation. A good agent will know now how to negotiate. It's a negotiation time, but we need eyes on it. So initially, we use that tool to get eyes on your property. So the difference between being proactive versus reactive, there's a couple of things. Now, proactive seller, now we price correctly, right? We prep the home. We listen to feedback. We adjust quickly if needed. Reactive waits too long, gets super frustrated, wants to take the home off the market, blames the market, blames everything. But that's a reactive, right? And we're always chasing the market. Where do you want to be? You want to be proactive or reactive? Because if you're reactive, what I talked about was the tool used, which is the number. You're going to keep chasing that number down. That doesn't look good. If we're proactive, we use that number as a tool, price it right, trust the process, get it sold. That's it. Another seller trap that I find personally is if a seller isn't working alongside with their agent. And what I mean by that is, look, you hiring your agent to get your home sold, and that is their job. But at the same time, it's a give and take. Constant communication is very important. Now, if an agent's trying to update you on the market weekly, give you feedback, whatever it is, maybe we have to do an adjustment. We have to be available as a seller with that communication. We have to have that two-way communication to ultimately get to your goal, right? Like I said, if there's adjustments being made, if there's certain feedback from buyers that, look, this is This is kind of a common trend that's been happening. We need to sit down, but you have to be available and you have to be able to communicate. So here's my 5 action steps for sellers. Get your home 100% ready for the market. Like I said earlier, get it staged as greatly as you can. That doesn't mean you have to go spend a bunch of money, but even what you're using currently, it might mean declutter half the stuff, right? Declutter half the clothes in your closet. Make it look like that show home closet, right? A few nice dress shirts, a couple nice pairs of dress shoes, some casual stuff. Have it presented where it opens up the space. Potential buyers can see, hey, this is a great closet, but if you have too much clothes in there, it looks cluttered, it looks small. It's just not going to look good. So get that 100% ready. Any kind of little repairs, loose cabinets, painted walls, deep cleaning is a non-negotiable. 100% deep clean professionally. Spend a couple $100, guys. It is worth it. Nothing worse for a buyer to come into a dirty home, and I mean dirty. Every nook and cranny, buyers will pick up on it because it shows. How's this guy maintain the house when he's been living here, right? How is this house upkept? If I'm spending $2 million or $1 million, whatever the price is, that's a lot of money. I can go to the next house that, they spent $350 on a deep clean, and now I'm willing to give them $1.5 million just because it's been clean, right? Like psychologically, if I walk into a house, I mean, how many times have you guys walked into a hotel or an Airbnb that's like maybe not up to par cleanliness wise? It could be little things and it turns you right off. You want to get out of there. So no different than a home, especially when someone's investing probably the most money that most people are ever going to invest in their lifetime, right? You have to think about that. You got to be on the other end of it. You've been there. If you're selling a house, you've been on the buying end. So think about when you've went through the process, right? It's super important. Price based on today's data, guys, not last year's data, not last year's BC assessment. Like, we have to look specifically at the data. Pull the last 30 days up. If there's not enough data on 30, okay, go to 60 or 90. But really, in this day, what's been selling in your neighborhood in the last 30 days, and then price it because of that. I don't care about your little amenities you have, a brand new countertop. It has this, it has that. Those are great perks. I love that. If you have a renovated bathroom and a renovated kitchen, good, because I'm going to get more eyes on your property. It's going to show better. It's going to have a step up on that house down the street that doesn't have any of that. But don't expect an extraordinarily amount of money coming back in your pocket, but you might get your house sold. That's where we're at in today's market. Price sharp, present it well, it'll sell, right? Everything else is secondary. Review showing feedback seriously, guys. This is a seller trap that I find. It's like, okay, I got some feedback, cool. The last 3 buyers kind of gave me a similar feedback. That's great. Okay, you can sell it. Like, the big thing is that you got to take that feedback seriously. If we're hearing consistent feedback, let's make a change. I had one place that the consistent feedback was, this place looks older than it is. I was dealing with a 4-year-old building, vacant property. They didn't get a deep clean. They didn't clean it. And so when you hear that, it usually comes down to cleanliness, because, hey, this building's 4 years old. We expect going in, it should be absolutely like turnkey brand new. Really, it's not an old building. But if you haven't kept up with the cleaning, it's going to be all the little nooks and crannies, little things, little grime that's going to really age the look of the unit. So take feedback seriously, and then from that feedback, adjust. We talk about price adjustment. Here's adjustment from buyer feedback. Very, very crucial, very important. Summarizing it up, like I said, commit to regular check-ins with your agent, right? Like I said, the constant communication, it goes hand in hand with the buyer feedback. Any type of checking in. Now, if you guys, you should have this kicked in even in the contract from day one when you sit down. Look, every Sunday or Monday, we are doing a check-in. We're doing a 15-minute Zoom call. I'm going to update you with what's going on in the current market. I'm going to update you with buyer feedback. I'm going to have some suggestions. Make it a weekly thing. This is a huge investment for you as well. You are having your home show home ready. You're trying to get to your next goal, whatever that may be, and you need to make these almost like a job, right? This is a weekly non-negotiable check-in between you and your agent. So again, this goes back to working hand in hand together, and your agent doing their job, what they do well is market your property, negotiate, price strategically, and your job is to keep your home maintained, declutter, regular check-ins with your agent, and together it's almost a team situation, right? So you're working, you don't work together, but you're working together. So that is a key takeaway for me right there. So that really sums up the key takeaways. So selling's not about perfection, it's about positioning. Are you proactive compared to reactive? Those are the biggest things that you gotta ask yourself and take away from this video. Which side are you on? It's great to say I want to sell my house. Am I going to be proactive? Am I going to be reactive? Makes a massive difference in the end goal of selling your home. So guys, if you're interested about the selling process, drop me a DM, shoot me a text, give me a call, book a call on my calendar. We'll walk through the process. We'll talk all about it. Sometimes for a lot of people, it's a scary process, and I get it, but that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you walk through it, come up with a plan, get your house on the market, and get it sold. That's it today, guys. On to the next video. We'll see you next time.